everybody, I'm Samantha Royal, and this is my Stupid Day Show. Welcome back. This is the second episode where everything is impromptu and there's no experts. We just talk about bass guitars and we make promises about slapping bass. Anyway, so today we're going to talk about Shades of Green, 70s, Gumby, and yeah, the merits of leather jackets. So with that, let's just dive right in. This week's bass is not a Rickenbacker. It is a Electra. If you don't know what this is a 1970s-ish Japanese-made copy of a Rickenbacker bass. These things were very, very much outlawed. I don't know if there was actually lawsuits, probably just cease and desists back in the day, and with good reason. We're going to talk about that, bit of controversy in copying manufacturers' basses. It is still going on today, unfortunately. There are a lot of Rickenbacker copies coming out of China. Yeah, I don't know. Some people are okay with it. I kind of tend to lean towards that's not cool. I'm a guitar maker myself, and if people copy my stuff, I'm going to want a cut of that. So I understand Rickenbacker's perspective on that. That said, I have no qualms about owning one of these things. They were built in the 70s, and you know, it's not like we're actively supporting counterfeiters by owning these things. The Electra badge on this one is something I added. A little bit about that. I used the Electra because I had a Electra Rickenbacker copy many years ago, and just nostalgic, personal nostalgic vibes. But these would have come branded as Univoxes, Ibanez, Electra, and more that aren't coming to mind at the moment. They were all built in the same Japanese factories. It was just the distributors that were putting the branding on the headstock. They're not all created equal, these old copies. This one is a pretty good one as far as they're concerned. It does have some things that are not as great as a real Rick, and some things that are better. So yeah, let's talk about that. It has copies of the original Grover wavy tuners, which actually work really well. Despite, I think one of them is slightly bent, but it still works fine. These are really cool tuners. I love that they have this wave in them that kind of catches your finger as you tune. The bridge pickup in this bass is killer. I put this bass like directly side by side with a few original 4001s from the 70s, and I like this bridge pickup better. It's more, I would say it's closer to a jazz bass pickup, not quite there, but it's less flat and wide. It's a little more narrow and tall. The Samir Duncan pickup is pretty cool, but it just, I've never gotten on well with it, and I'll show you that here in a second. What else? It's fretless. You probably can't tell that on camera, but get it really close, you can tell. That's not original. This was defretted at one point. This color is not original. This was originally a Sunburst bass, and my friend Rocky Ramjet, shout out Rocky Ramjet, if you're watching this, is the man I got this bass from. He had it refinished. He had I believe a new truss rod put in it. At least the nut is different. It's a Fender style nut. If you remember, like old school Fenders have that like crosshatch nut at the heel. This has that up there, which is pretty interesting. The neck profile is pretty similar to an old school Rick on this. I would say like they're all a little different. I mean, I think they were probably hand sanded, if not still. So they're all a little different. Rick's will have like this weird flat, like where the headstock kind of extends into the neck a little bit, and this has it comes up to about here. Although I've seen them like almost up to the first fret. So that's an interesting cork. Probably not going to annoy most players, but some people that bugs them. It is neck through. Not all these copies were neck through. They did make bolt-ons. My Electra back in the day was a bolt-on. And yeah, that affects the sound quite a bit. And just like the feel of the instrument, this is very solid. It's got a lot of quirky things going on. It's got the original Rick style bridge with the mute still in there. This big bezel that is always a little loose. You may notice that my cord is coming out of here, not here. That's a mod I did. I don't like side mount jacks. I don't particularly hate them, but basses that I'm gonna play a bit, I like to modify. And then so we've got neck volume, bridge volume, tone, three-way switch, pretty simple. In place of the jack I took out, I put a stutter switch in there just to fill the hole. I don't think I've ever used that. It's not super useful. You think about it like kind of hard to get to you. Yeah, anyways, we're playing through the same amp as last week. If you didn't watch that episode, go check it out. It's basically a Fender Champ old school head running into a 115. And then I've got my drum machine out today. I figured that would be fun to mess around with. And that's just running through a little Fender combo amp back here. It's not meant for drums. And yeah, we got volumes all the way up. Both pickups. This is actually pretty good. I was saying I don't really like that pickup, but both pickups is kind of nice. It humbucks, so you get that going on. It's got that Rick grind that's like a signature thing these basses do. I'm gonna probably scratch it with my sleeve here if I'm not careful. You might be asking at this point in the video, Samantha, you kind of look like you're sweating. Why are you wearing a leather jacket, and why are we talking about leather jackets? I'm just wearing it because it looks cool, you know? Like, why wouldn't you want to look cool as a musician? And also because this is a perfect right angle here. Go find any guitar with binding, and you'll know what I'm talking about. This is rounded, like some of them are really sharp. It's not super uncomfortable to play without sleeves, but a thick leather sleeve definitely helps make this thing more comfortable. I don't know, like, you guys tell me in the comments if you play an instrument with binding. Do you like have a callus there? Do you use sleeves? You like, Samantha, you're stupid, you just need to play like this? I don't know. Tell me what's up with that, because I've always had an issue with that. It's also like on a Rick, it's kind of pointy here. It's not like a smooth transition like a P bass would be, so it just, I think, kind of exaggerates it. So yeah, that's a thing. What else can we talk about? Let's just play it. Let's hear what it sounds like. I'll just go with this mid position and a 4 on the floor. switch to the bridge here. Is that bridge? Both pickups? Oh, that was technical difficulties! Ah! We're gonna talk about that here in a second. Let's hear the neck pickup. It gets louder if throwing that bridge in, and then it gets louder still if we just go to the bridge. Yeah, so that's a gist of it. What's going on here? Did you guys notice that? I mean, you noticed it because I pointed it out, but things you're gonna run into with vintage instruments. I gotta replace this switch. Anybody that knows me that's watching this is like, Samantha, you were saying that like 3 years ago. This bass lives in the rack and it comes out on special occasions. I use it for recordings when I need that Rick tone. So I have a tendency to, I can make it work, so I'm just not going to fix it. But yeah, it likes to slip out of that bridge position, which ironically is the one I like to use most of the time. Tone all the way down. Oh yeah, this is a thing. I can barely turn this tone control down. Oh wait, no. It is all the way down. This tone control is sticky, and I don't know, like it had some like syrup poured into it or something. You turn it, like it's freed up now. You turn it a few times and it frees up. I sprayed Deoxit number 5 in there years ago, and that seemed like it fixed it, and like it freed up now. But then, like, it's like a phantom thing. It comes back after it sits for a day. So that's a thing. What else did I do with this bass? I had to lower the action. That sounds trivial. This bass, they defretted it. I think they kind of didn't think it through. Not to say I blame them. Like, it's an honest mistake that like I could probably make. They didn't think it through when they took away the frets. They'd have to lower the action that much more, and the bridge was bottomed out. It was as low as it'll go, and normally you would just adjust the neck angle. You take the neck off, put a shim in there, and adjust it, but you can't do it here. So that's a thing with these basses. Also, like, you know, vintage Gibson basses, the set necks, anything that doesn't have a bolt-on neck. So I had to get really creative with this from what I remember. I think I lowered the nut a little bit because that was a little high. I actually took this bridge apart, and the whole saddle assembly on the bottom side, I ground it down like maybe a 32nd of an inch, and then I ground the saddle slots a little bit deeper. Took a little from here, a little from there, and now I have nice low action. It is as low as it will go, but it's like 5/64 or something like that. I don't remember exactly. I haven't measured it, but it's low. Nice straight neck. The guy, I'll just plug him here. Chris at Colfax Guitars here in Denver, Colorado. He refinished this, did an absolutely fabulous job. It's really, really nice. Nitro surf green. All the trim around the binding is just perfectly done. That's really takes a skilled hand to do that. And yeah, it's yellow like a vintage bass should be. It's got little check marks that you'll never see on camera, but when you sit with it, you notice it, and it's got a nice vintage feel. The fingerboard is epoxied, which is really nice. It contributes to that grind sound that we all like from a Rick. I wasn't sure I was gonna like this and settle into it at first, because like when I think of a 4001 or 4003, I think of frets, and fretless completely changes the sound of an instrument. But the epoxy goes a long ways for maintaining that sort of top end grind sizzle thing that Ricks do. I just realized that we weren't playing with the tone all the way up, so we need to do that. And livens it right up. Pickups where it's at. We'll go to the middle. Neck. I don't want to go into that. I don't like the neck on this bass. But anyways, what else can I say about it? It's quirky as all get out. If you like quirky, you'll like a Rick or a Japanese copy of one. I'll say don't bother with the Chinese ones. It's my opinion, but they kind of, to me, they look like if a Rick had like a alcoholic nephew or something. It just don't go there, like don't go there. Anyways. What else? It forces you to play differently, and I think that's something that we tend to not think about on basses. Is like I pluck back by the bridge, so like there's this mute here, so I'm plucking a little farther forward, and that's going to change the sound. There's lines on the fingerboard, which every time I pick this bass up, I have to get used to, and you've probably noticed I'm like playing off intonated on this thing. It's also a little bit harder because there are no side dots. That's something that's better about a real Rickenbacker is I don't think I've ever played one that didn't have side dots. I need to fix that someday, like the switch, the tone control. But like I said, when you only pull it out every once in a while, it's fine. But yeah, that's this thing in a nutshell. Sorry I can't like virtuoso shred on this thing. I've only practiced with it for a couple days. Yeah, that's pretty much it. What else is going on? What's different about these basses? Acrylic pick guards, nice and chunky. That's kind of different. This is actually clear plastic and it's white underneath, so it kind of has like a weird 3D thing going on. Yeah. I think that's all for the Rickenbacker. Let's try and get it to settle into the bridge position and just we'll just play it out. 70s. Oh yeah, I didn't talk about Gumby. So I was preparing to film this video, and I've always called this base Gumby because it looks like Gumby in my brain. Gumby is a darker green, you guys. Exploded my brain.